You're like, come on guys, like you can do better than that. And it starts wrestling strongly, like wrestles you back into the lane. Actually, maybe they think that we're all blind grandmas trying to drive around here. I have no idea. I was like, you know what, dude? You're right. You're right. I am distracted and I shouldn't be distracted like this. Thank you. Active driver safety systems and driver monitoring systems in modern cars. Which ones look good, which ones look bad, and we are specifically comparing here the cheap ones coming out of China in Chinese cars and something that I've been now experiencing in a Japanese car, Subaru Outback 2023. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Dimitri. This is Value Cars Australia. And I'm trying at least to offer you balanced reviews of different cars since 2021 as a private owner. So let's talk about the active driver monitoring systems, the fatigue monitor. Many cars have it. Haval H6 that I owned didn't have it. Tank doesn't have it, I don't think. And maybe the new cars such as GWM Aura, such as the Omoda 5, Chery Omoda 5, Chery Tiggo 7 Pro, they definitely have it. Subaru Outback 2023 model also has the driver monitoring system. I have a general problem with systems that watch me as I drive along, because for many years it was okay to not be watched, and now suddenly we all have to be watched. What's up with that? Chery Omoda 5 and Chery Tiggo 7 Pro have that system, and I spoke about it quite a bit in my other videos that you need to take a look at if you're interested in this topic. And basically summary is that they're very overzealous. They're very overzealous, and Chery Omoda 5, at least the earlier version of the software, it did not even recognize the sunglasses on your face. Basically, if you had sunglasses on, that you do 90% of the time in Australia in summer, and it is summer often here, it basically immediately pesters you with all these warnings telling you to pull over, you're unfit to drive, and all that really annoying stuff. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it aggravates me so freaking much. People who have released a car into Australian market with that kind of tuned electronics should be fired immediately on the spot. I'm sure you have other people lining up to get a decent job who can do a better job at it, Chery. So they have improved it. Credit where it's due. But me, being a former software engineer who does other things in his life for many years now, I understand that to properly make the system smarter, it's a lot harder. It's not a quick thing. It's not a quick thing to suddenly retune it and make it recognize sunglasses and like make it better, essentially. So what they must have done, it's speculation, yeah, but educated speculation. What they must have done is simply release the software patch quickly, responding to this kind of immediate market uproar that they surely gotten in form of feedback from people buying these cars from them. They must have reduced sensitivity of how that system detects things on your face and whatnot, and it did make a difference. I drove Omoda 5 now several times, and I test drove Chery Tiggo 7 Pro, and credit where it's due, it doesn't seem to be as horrific as it was, and horrific is a key word here because the original state of it was horrific, yeah. And they've done something about it. It's a bit more bearable, but I still find it quite invasive. I find it too loud. I find it trying to tell me that I'm distracted or something too loudly too often. Now, speaking of a mature brand such as Subaru, Japanese brand, 2023 model, yes, it watches me, it recognizes me when I get into the car because I registered myself as one of the drivers. It says, "Hi Dimitri," and apparently it can even adjust my seat to my preferred adjustments. I just didn't go through those kind of things. Well, it's lovely. It does tell me when I'm distracted, and let's be very clear. I haven't had this car for too long, but I drive it all the time in city traffic, enough to see this system in action pretty much all the time. This system, whenever it gently, keyword is gently, nudged me to the fact that I am distracted, it was right. I was distracted. I actually was distracted. And it was like, tin tin, you've been distracted. Like, eyes on the road, please. And once when I was stupid enough and you know, I'm not going to say, because it's illegal in Australia, I'm not going to say what I was doing in the car when I was driving. Same thing as you do all the time, I'm sure. But I'm not going to say it. I was doing that thing a little bit, safely enough, but the car detected that I was doing it, and it basically said to me much louder and much more like with a red icon flashing, like, don't be distracted, like that kind of stuff. And you know what? In that moment in time, I appreciated it. I was like, you know what, dude? You're right. I am distracted, and I shouldn't be distracted like this. Thank you. That was cool. That was cool. That was good. It was not an unwelcome ding and bong that I will keep talking to you about as I describe other systems. That's the difference. Of course, I don't have a massive sample size of seeing how these systems work in Toyota and how they work in Honda and how they work elsewhere, so Japanese versus Chinese. But I'm telling you, as a private owner and as an honest person who praises Chinese for what they deserve, yeah, which used to be at the very least a good price point for a decent quality, and that is mainly Great Wall Motor. I still believe that they're great. For a reason, Great Wall Motor, they are great, okay? But then when we talk about the electronics, even in GWM, even in Great Wall Motor Haval specifically, yeah, as we start talking about the emergency lane keeping, it's still also a bit beta version. When you look at it from the software perspective, it's alpha to beta version. You're like, come on guys, like you can do better than that. And with that, let's smoothly proceed and talk about the electronic lane keeping, emergency lane keep assist systems. Let's start with Subaru in this particular case. Subaru's system, just like GWM Haval's system and just like Chery's system, it comes on automatically every single time you start the car. You cannot turn it off permanently. It actually is rather subtle. It is coming on to try and keep me in the lane when I'm actually genuinely veering, like I was veering on a highway a little bit, not because I was too distracted, but just because I don't even remember. I think there was some road works and there was some patch of freshly painted asphalt, and I tried to like go close to, like instead of staying in the middle of the lane, I tried to go close to one of the white lines, and I think it very gently kind of just tried to steer me back. I felt it with the steering wheel, and maybe there was a tiny bong that I practically didn't register. It was like and like tried to veer me, which was cool. That is the level of lane keeping that I'm actually comfortable with. I think it does help. I think it is okay. Now let's talk about very briefly about Haval's emergency lane keeping. You know me, you've watched those videos. I freaking hate it. I find it horribly overtuned. And again, even if it tries to do the right thing, it's horribly overtuned. There is no reason for it to be so horrible. Specific horrible things you can watch in those videos. I spent, I don't know how much time over several videos talking about it. Over an hour, probably, overall minutes. But basically, Haval's version of the emergency lane keeping, first of all, does not allow you to mute it. It can be even on in my mind, but just don't ding and bong every time you think I'm veering. But it does it all the time. You have to be absolutely perfect in the middle of the lane in the city all the time. If you are veering somewhere, even if you want to merge to turn, it starts wrestling strongly, like wrestles you back into the lane. It's absolutely unacceptable in my humble opinion. Absolutely unacceptable. As well as the settings tell you that you can set it to like low sensitivity and just vibration, no sound. It ignores that fully, and it does it with high sensitivity for what I can tell, and it also dings and bongs. Does it annoy you when I'm imitating this? Well, imagine me driving that car. So that's Haval's. Chery's is somewhere in between. It also does the lane keeping in a slightly assertive way, as it does everything. It's very over the top, it's very flashy, and everything in design is flashy about Chery. That is my opinion as well. Just take it for what it is. That's a private person's opinion who doesn't get paid for this stuff by these brands. And that's what you have to understand. Variety of other mainstream media channels, they all are kinda, I don't want to use rude words here, but they basically in bed with those companies. I'm not. That's the difference for you. So yeah, that's it. So all I wanted to say to you is that there are driver safety and driver support kind of systems all baked into even Japanese brands such as Subaru Outback. And yes, they come on, and at first you're like, oh, here we go again. But then you kind of understand that this is where they help. They're subtle. While Chinese ones are both too highly tuned, overtuned, beta versions, whatever you want to call that software. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it to you. And they are also a bit too forceful. They literally, maybe they think that we're all blind grandmas trying to drive around here. I have no idea who designed it, with what kind of, because when you design anything, systems, whatever processes, you have a specific user base in mind. So I have no idea who that was designed for, but I do now strongly advocate for the Japanese version, at least Subaru's version of what I'm seeing here. I'm not even anti-systems now, because I've seen now what good looks like. Once you see what good looks like, it gives you a perspective on what bad used to look like and why was it so bad. I still believe that those systems were very over the top. And the further we go into the future, the more of those systems are going to be staring us in the face. What do you think? And speaking of what do you think, I do welcome your opinions in the comments down below. I just always, lately, I'm sick of the sound of my own voice saying it, but I have to say it because people seem to think that they can just come in, accuse me of being either a China basher or a China shill. I have both, yeah? How can I be both? Come on, man. And they think that it's going to be all okay for them. They think that it's like a public forum, like you pay taxes, which enables you to be in a free country, stand there on the corner of the street and shout obscenities right there. My friends, this is a private club. I keep saying it. It's a freaking private club. I welcome people, but like a house party, right? While the door is open. Come in, let's chat. We don't have to agree on everything. Let's have fun. Let's be mutually respectful. As soon as you take a swing at me, you're out immediately. And that's how it's going to be on my channel forever to come. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you found something useful, maybe a bit of an insight for you. Maybe it provoked some sort of a thinking process in you. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let's chat. And goodbye for now. I'll talk to you next week.